Hello, everyone. It's Sunday once again. It's the second Sunday of the year. It's now 2 o'clock in the UK, which means 10 o'clock in Manila. I hope some of you are still up and joining us live. Welcome to another episode of Ask the Drummer. Today's guest, he's really lovely. He's really lovely young man, and I'm really fond of him because not only is he an amazing drummer, but he's also like a keen or avid record collector like myself, and he regularly comes to King B Records where I work in Chilton. And it's lovely to see him so like regularly, even if I don't see the band playing live. So my dear friends, please welcome Arvin Johnson. Yay!
How's it going? You good?
How are you, Arvin?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on this. It's an honor.
Yeah, thank you for saying yes. I mean, I didn't see you. Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah. I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't see you yesterday at King B or
No,
any of your bandmates.
it's a rare Saturday we didn't go in yesterday. I actually went into Vinyl Resting Place in town. Instead,
Right.
spent a bit of money there instead.
Yeah, it's the one at the Afflex.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Afflex Palace. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good record shop there.
It's good. Yeah, it can be a little bit hit or miss, but it was fruitful yesterday.
Yeah. Well, before we actually start, my colleague Neil Barker, who you know as well, he just said hi, Arvin. So
Hey, Neil.
he's joining us live. Thank you so much, Neil. So everyone's okay with the band and things.
Yes.
Yeah.
All good. Everyone's all right.
Yeah. I don't know if I should tell you the same. Has anyone asked or said that you're like a gentle giant? Because you're so tall.
They haven't really, but I'll take it.
Because I mean, how tall are you?
I think I must be 6'2", maybe 6. I do wear docks all the time, and they've got a little bit of platform, don't they? So maybe 6'2", maybe a bit taller. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because the rest of the band, they're also same height or something, and then you're like really tall.
I remember I went to school with Eddie, the bass player, and he was always taller than me. And I was like, I remember the day when I realised I just eclipsed him a little bit, and it was a good day.
Oh, okay. Well, no, right. So we're gonna start now. So, welcome to Ask the Drummer. Episode 109 is all about you, Arvin Johnson. I know that you live in Manchester now,
Yes.
but can you just tell us where were you born and where you grew up?
Yeah, of course. So I was born in London in Hounslow, which is probably a part of London you would never want to go to because it's pretty horrible. I lived there until I was about 6, and then when my family moved down to Brighton on the south coast. So down at Hove actually, as it goes. But yeah, it was a lovely place. I don't know if you've ever been down to Brighton at Hove.
Brighton, yeah. I have been there for a visit when my mum was came here. Yeah, it's a nice,
It's
nice place for tourists.
Good place to good place to live as well. A lot of good music, got a lot of good record shops. And then lived there until came up to Manchester for uni, and here we are. I'm sort of stuck because Manchester's such a great place.
Yeah, but you mentioned that Brighton is actually like a music city as well. So have you always been into music, or did you come from a musical family?
Yeah. So my dad's a musician. My dad is a sort of singer-songwriter. He's sort of like a political, folky singer-songwriter with sort of punk sensibilities. I think he's a bit like Billy Bragg with a bit more melody and a bit more integrity. I think. Sort of political singer-songwriter. So I've grown up around music. I was going to his gigs when I was really young, and he's always writing stuff and recording stuff. So yeah, I've grown up quite a lot around it.
Yeah, because I know that Arthur, your bandmate, Arthur Arnold, his dad is, he's also in a band called The Claim.
Yes,
And
yeah, yeah,
so, is your dad also in the band, or
yeah. It
is
was it was mainly sort of solo stuff. He does play in a band, but
also, yeah,
he's
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
like his band is Rob Johnson and the Irregulars, but he mainly does sort of solo stuff. And I've played in his band at various points in my life. He's recently got a new drummer because it wasn't you know that feasible going down to Brighton for gigs and stuff. But
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but no, he's good. He writes good songs. He writes good songs.
And he still does it. So,
He still does
so
it.
he still, yeah, yeah.
Still does it.
It's just like with The Claim. They still gig from time to
Yeah,
time.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think it's a really nice thing um, to sort of keep up. I feel like a lot of people get a bit disillusioned, but for my dad, he's sort of I respect the fact that he always has this mentality that you're only as good as your next song. So he churns them out, which is good.
All right. And so, are you and Arnold childhood friends?
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
yeah,
know each other from?
yeah. I mean, well, I suppose so. We met at college. We met when we were like must have been um, I guess 17.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Met
yeah.
in a history class. Yeah, it's a little bit sort of corny, but I met him and I remember thinking like I'm gonna be in a band with that guy, and
Oh,
it worked out.
oh, I
So,
see.
so
Well,
yeah,
did they look cool? And so,
he
like,
looked
was
cool.
was he already singing, or?
I could just tell he's a cool guy. He was. I think I said something a bit cringe to him, like, "Oh, are you into mod? Are you a mod?" And he
Oh,
was like, "Yeah," because he was. Yeah, I can't remember what he was wearing, but he was wearing like maybe a Harrington or something. I thought he was a cool guy.
yeah. Aiden just said that sound and picture excellent quality and no background noise, which is really good. Aiden is my tech support, so that's good. So,
Nice.
your dad is a singer songwriter. He doesn't play drums, does he?
No, no,
No.
he's really his sense of timing isn't amazing, I'd say, but I didn't get that from him.
Right. But what got you into drumming? Why didn't you did you try learning how to play other instruments like guitar or piano?
Yeah, yeah, I think I did. I play a little bit of guitar, and I used to play with my dad when I was growing up, a bit of acoustic guitar. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I was in a. Well, I think it all comes down to watching videos of the Clash when I was younger. When me and my dad we dropped my brother off at nursery or school or whatever, and we go
Yeah.
home and he had this DVD. It was called The Essential Clash. And it had like all their music videos and a couple of live stuff on it, live videos. And I remember being in awe of Topper Headon, the drummer from the Clash.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember there's that song Tommy Gunn, where there's this sort of like Rolls intro. Um, I was just sort of I was in awe of it. So I guess since then I always had an interest in playing the drums. Um, and yeah, my dad got me a little kit when I must have been 5, which I didn't
Oh
touch. I didn't really play it for a
yeah,
good
yeah.
5 years. It must have been 2008 or 9. We moved to Brighton. My dad started recording at this studio down the road from us. And the engineer is called Ali Gavin, really lovely man. He was looking to do a bit of teaching, so yeah, my dad asked if I wanted to have lessons, and yeah, it sort of it sort of fell into it in a way.
Oh, okay. So you had proper drumming lessons from
Yeah,
this. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was sort of proper lessons. It was more learning things by ear because my theory is absolutely rubbish. So we would sort of like learn songs
Yeah.
uh, and do it that way. And then I was in like a band with him, Ali, and my dad for like a year or so, where we just sort of do covers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was straight into sort of playing in bands, which was quite fun.
Yeah. Did you do like the Clash songs?
We did London Calling. We did we did London Calling. We did Johnny Be Good, Teenage Kicks, No Fun,
Yeah.
like all the classics really.
So those are your your first proper band as a drummer with your dad
Yeah,
and your teacher. So,
yeah. I'm not sure I'd call it a proper band, but yeah.
but right. So um, when you went to college, you met Arthur
Mhm.
Arthur Arnold. and you said to yourself that I'm gonna be in a band with him. Did you actually like start anything right there and then? And who approached who? I mean, how did it go?
It's a good question. I can't really remember. I must have inquired as to whether we played an instrument first, or yet
Oh,
played guitar. I think I said that me and Eddie, because I went to school with Eddie, the bass player. We were looking to start something up and needed a guitarist. So I think I floated that idea to him because he was playing in a band at the time.
no, right, okay, yeah,
Yeah, called Clipper, and they were really good. And I kind of knew of them before I met Arthur. Um, and they're a great band, like really sort of like sincere pop music, jangly stuff.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
some stuff on Bandcamp actually. You should give it. I don't know if he's a bit embarrassed by it, but
What's
it's
it called? The Clipper. The Clipper.
Clipper. They're called
Okay.
Clipper. Um, they got some good songs. So yeah, I knew he kind of was in a band, so I wasn't sure if he was willing to sort of try something else out. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I remember we ended up going down to like a local rehearsal space and trying out some ideas, and yeah, it sort of came together.
Yeah. But did you already know that his dad's
No,
his dad was in a band?
I had no idea. No, that was a little bit later. He mentioned the claim stuff.
Oh, right. Okay. But you didn't tell him that you were in a band with your dad. That
I think
you
yeah, I sort of. I mean, I played in various bands before that. Up until that point, I was in a band called. I was in a band called Pog, who are still playing. They're sort of like a, I guess DIY folky punk band in Brighton. I did a couple of albums with them. Like good, really good music. I think. A bit Patrick Fitzgeraldy and a bit Bell and Sebastian-esque, but I don't think he likes being compared to them. So I played with
Oh,
Pog, and another band called Greg. We didn't have a name, so we just called ourselves Greg. So I was sort of, yeah, I was playing a bit, but yeah, it was sort of stopped then when I met, when me and Eddie and Arthur started our thing.
yeah, yeah. So you're already you've been playing loads of different bands before you started. So were you already called when you met Arthur? Did you already call yourselves Tigers and Flies, or what was the name of the band when it was just the three of you?
Yeah, so so it was. Yeah, we were called Tigers and Flies. We couldn't come up with a name, as every band can't, for a long time. It took us a while, but yeah. So when I don't, it's quite such a boring story how we decided. I think we were sitting at the canteen at college, and Arthur and I had like a history exam, and Eddie was just sitting with us scrolling through our textbook, and we found out we were learning about like communist China, and there are these groups of people called the Tigers and the Flies. I can't even remember who they were. I think they were like maybe people who were tried by the state for various things, and we just thought it sounded cool, so we nabbed the name. But yeah,
Oh, I
so
see.
when we were three piece, we were still Tigers and Flies.
So you're already doing calling yourselves Tigers and Flies even when you're still in Brighton.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And then I mean this is really weird because it's like from Brighton, who came to Manchester first, and then all of a sudden the three well not maybe all of a sudden, was it planned that all three of you will actually go to Manchester?
I think we kind of say that it wasn't. We kind of say that we all liked it for different reasons. Um, but I think part of it was the fact that we knew we all wanted to carry on the band. Um, so many people from Brighton came up to Manchester. There's I think I could count around 20 people that I knew who went from Brighton to Manchester that year. So it was, yeah, a lot of people doing it.
Okay, but you didn't take all the same course in
No,
uni, did you?
no, we didn't. We sort of, yeah, I guess we distanced ourselves from each other a little bit in our first year at university. We didn't gig very much. We gigged once, I think, and didn't rehearse
Yeah,
really. Just because you're sort of finding your feet and meeting new people, and you need that natural space, don't you?
yeah,
But then, yeah, we started it again, and then that's when we met Matteo, the trumpet player, and Risha, the trombone player, in our
yeah,
second
yeah.
year. So yeah,
Um,
slow progress.
yeah. Well, what year was this?
I think it was 2020. I think it was just before
Is
COVID.
it during before COVID?
Yeah, when was COVID? Was it 20? Was it,
2020, yeah, that was a really sort of like sometimes you think, did it really happen?
yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's sort of that time is so hazy, isn't it? I feel like it's hard to work out what happened when from like 2020 to 2022. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, we start. I think we started playing with Matteo at least end of 2019, beginning of 2020.
Right. Because, I mean, from March, beginning of April, I mean, I know it's all like late March, um, people just weren't allowed to be together. It's like, I don't know what uni was like because, I mean, it was really hard for my daughter as well because she just stayed in. And so,
Oh,
like,
really? Was
yeah,
she
but
was
that
she
was,
at uni then?
well, that was the year that she actually took a gap year because she
Okay.
was hoping that she could go somewhere and enjoy
Oh
a
man,
year
that's
before,
so
yeah, before going to uni. And then of course, we just stayed there. so, so
yeah.
what was that like for you and the other members of the band?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was strange. I think because we'd started, we started writing these new songs with these new brass parts, and we were all like so excited by them. We used to rehearse in my basement in Withington, and it was just really fun. And we were working out all these different sounds that we could use. And then obviously it just came to a halt. But yeah, I think when it all when stuff started opening up again, we got back on it straight away. Like um, so that summer we recorded our first like EP album. We did with Violette. Little 10 inch.
Yeah,
We recorded that in 2020, I think, in the summer. So yeah, it's so hazy, isn't it? I think we got right back to it. We did like we were in like the studio for a week rehearsing and writing stuff, and then went straight into to Kent to record for a few days. So yeah, I mean it was frustrating, obviously, but I think we kind of as soon as we could got back to it.
yeah, yeah. Are Matteo and Risha from Manchester, or are they also from Brighton?
They're the two who aren't from Brighton. They're both from London. In terms, so close by. In terms,
No,
yeah, from London bases.
yeah, it's just so like really strange that you're actually Tigers and Flies are actually regarded as a Manchester local band. And
Yeah, I think we feel a bit we feel a bit uncomfortable claiming to be a Manchester band, so we say Manchester based. Not to
Manchester.
anyone.
Yeah, well, you talked about that album that Violette Records
Oh yeah,
released.
there it is.
This, yeah, Tigers and Flies, among everything else. Now, the reason why I took notice of Tigers and Flies is because of Violette, and they released a Michael Head and the Red Elastic Band album in 2017 called Adios Senor Pussycat. And from then on, it's like they've been, releasing loads of. I mean, their roster is just
Mm,
amazing bands and artists. So, and they're very good with their promotion as well. So I
yeah,
have heard of Tigers and Flies,
mm,
but
really.
and I've been meaning to sort of like go and see you live for a long time, ever since the records or like promoted it. But the first time I saw you live was last year at Fuel Bar
Yes, yeah.
in Whittington.
Yeah,
And
that was a fun gig.
yeah, it was amazing. It was with Autocamper as well because I've you know I've I've seen Autocamper before Tigers and Flies,
Hmm.
and I was just really so like amazed. I mean, I don't know what the right word, but it's like really amazing when I finally saw you live because I was expecting something so like do you like Django like indie?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I think we've been talking to each other about this recently. I think there has been quite a shift in the sort in our sound, and like a conscious thing. I think we've just been listening to different influences. We've all been getting into different types of music and different bands, and So the EP was very much like I guess, jangly poppy album, because that's where we were, as a band, and I think it's cool, and I think it captures that time of us really well. But
Yeah.
I guess it's a bit more angular and a bit punkier now. So yeah, we did think that what people who have just heard the album come to a gig might think. So it's interesting you say that.
And also another thing that I was really surprised was like when I saw Risha
Mm.
with this massive like trombone, and I said, "Oh my god!" It's like I think it's bigger than her. It's like,
Yeah, it's it's quite impressive, isn't it? How someone so small
yeah,
can make loud noise with such a big instrument.
and and you use quite a lot of cowbell as well, which is for
Yes.
me, yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
It's yeah. What I think that's what I've really enjoyed over the past couple of years is integrating more sort of percussion into our into our setup. Like
yeah,
Matteo, the trumpet player, is like, I think he does the same amount of percussion as he does sort of trumpeting now, and he's really good at it, and he's got a really good ear for, for percussion parts. So
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah.
it's been really fun. We've got like a go-go's, we've got like a couple of cowbells, a couple of wood blocks, tambourine. I've sort of I've threatened to get some rototoms, but I'm not sure that's been passed yet.
Oh, yeah, because it actually reminded me of, I don't know why, but it reminded me of a certain ratio when I saw you live. And I think it's that time in Manchester where they had a lot of percussion and like cowbell and things. That's what it reminded me of. And then I knew that's like, oh yeah, this is a Manchester band. It's
That's really
like-
that's really interesting. I've never listened to them. All I know of them is, they're in 24-hour party people, and they get kind of slagged off a little bit in the narrative of the film. But
oh
yeah, are they worth a listen?
yeah, oh yeah, you need to. They're
Yeah.
really amazing. I mean, it's like, and also, I know that you're a fan of Big Flame,
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that was
and
a recent discovery.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that is good. And now, because I've mentioned this to you before, that I've actually saw them because they're now the Great Leap Forward,
Yeah.
and I saw them perform at Preston Pop
Mm.
in 2021, I think it was, when lockdown was lifted and everybody can now go to gigs.
Yeah. 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 Well, they did.
So yeah,
They did.
yeah. I think because of lockdown, I don't know if this is true though, but because of lockdown, then most musicians actually wanting to be out there when it's
Yeah.
so
Of
like
course.
it opened again.
Yeah. I
So
think a lot of sort of musicians realised how much they enjoyed sort of playing live and performing, and that sort of that the interactiveness of being on a stage. So yeah, I guess
yeah.
it's no surprise that you saw all these old bands coming out and, and playing again.
Yeah, that's true. And everybody's excited about it.
Yeah,
You're like, yes, we can see, we can have live
yeah,
music again. But going back to Tigers and Flies, you've been around. You're not a new band because
no,
the EP from Violette, or it's not really an EP, it's more like a proper album. So it's like 10 songs. 10
mhm,
songs on it, and that was released in 2021, and you've been playing with Arthur and Eddie since your college days
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
Brighton. Um, but I've just seen John Robb's article on Louder Than War. I think he went to see you
Oh
last
really?
year. Yeah.
I didn't
Did you have you not seen it?
know.
It was on the 11th. Well, it's on the 5th of November 2023, which is not, it was only like a couple months
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah. What's the
I don't
article?
I don't know which gig it was, but
Yeah,
he put Tigers and Flies as new band of the day.
really?
Yeah.
That's so cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, and it's on the Louder Than War website, which is run
Yeah,
by
yeah,
John Robb. and he wrote. Yeah, he wrote that he actually described you as the Smiths meets XTC.
Wow. Hey, that's a pretty good mix.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I'm going to tell Arthur that he's gonna be pretty chuffed.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, I got his book for Christmas. I think it's called Death to Trad Rock. Don't know if you read it.
All right, not the goth one, because I've
No,
got
no.
the goth.
It,
Yeah, yeah.
this one came out a few years ago. It sort of covers all those sort of niche bands from like I guess early '80s to I think it's mid '90s. But yeah, I've sort of I've been in and out of it, and it's good. It's good. There's loads of I found out about a band called Death by Milk Float from it. Don't know if you come across him.
Oh no, no.
But yeah, he's one of those guys who kind of like he's just got his eye on the ball, doesn't he? You know, he knows what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. He's obviously seen. I don't know which gig it was, but it was in November.
Okay, wow, that's pretty cool.
And
I'll give it a Google afterwards.
yeah, yeah, and that's what he put. That so like new band of the day, and I think that's why because I went to see the Vaselines a few days ago, and
Oh
Otto
yeah,
Campo,
you saw him,
yeah,
didn't you?
Otto Campo were there. They were one of the support bands,
Mhm.
and I think I remember saw like Jack Harkins asking if
Mhm.
John Robb was there. I think he was hoping that maybe he could give
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
like
yeah.
a review of them as well. And then I realized when I was actually doing the script that he's done a review of your gig
Oh, that's so
of
nice.
Flies. So
Oh,
it's only a short sort of like thing, but being sort of like put as new band of the day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
I
really
think
nice. I'll look that up afterwards.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, you need to look it up. So we mentioned earlier that Arnold is actually Arnold's dad played or still plays in the
Hmm.
Claim,
Hmm.
and they're like from the 80s. I think they're part of what do you call it? Is it Medway?
The
Is it
Medway scene, yeah, I think so.
the
Yeah.
Medway scene? Yeah, I didn't know about that. I've only saw like found out about it recently.
Hmm.
So he's I mean so he's always been around to like musicians and things, but
Yeah.
recently with the Claim supported David Woodward and the Winter Orphans at the Talleyrand, you played drums for them.
I did, yeah, I did. It was big boots to fill, but it was not. Yeah, it was really nice to be asked, you know, because there's such, you know, obviously there's such great songs that the Claim have written over there. Yeah, of course, of being a band, and Arthur plays them a lot around the house, so I kind of, you know, you kind of absorb them. So playing the songs wasn't too difficult because I kind of knew them so well. Um, but yeah, it was really fun. It was a really nice to be asked.
Yeah, was it Arnold who actually so like suggested you, or did you already know the Claim, or
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know Arthur's parents quite well, so um, I think I remember ages ago Arthur saying that his dad wanted to, you know, he wanted to he wanted to get me in the Claim at some point. So maybe they kind of, you know, I think it was they had a gig and the drummer couldn't make it, so it made sense, you know, logistically made sense, and also it's kind of, you know, he wanted to anyway. Um,
yeah?
so yeah, I got the call up.
So you already know their songs, anyways. And
Yeah,
how
yeah,
long
yeah.
did it take you to practice with them?
Well, because they were driving up from all over, from like Brighton, Kent, and Devon, I think. So we didn't have long to rehearse. He sent me the songs before, and I listened to them, and we had like one rehearsal the night before, and then did the gig. So it kind of it was all a bit last minute, but I think it came together sort of fairly well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you did really well. And if you only had like one rehearsal with them, because you played as if you were with them for a long time. And
Oh, I'm glad that came across.
yeah. But we've got a question from Weed and Broom. Dennis Brown, hello. I'm glad that you joined us. He's asking if it's the same band that sing a song called Ben. Yes, yes, it's the
Yeah,
same
that's
band.
right. Yeah, that's
Yes.
um, yeah, that was on the Violette sort of
Yeah,
album we did. Yeah, we kind of I think we played it to death a little bit. So when we put sets together now, we tend to leave it out. But But it's a fun one, you know. It's a fun track.
Well, Dennis wanted to know, is Ben a real person?
Good question. Yeah, Ben is a real person. I don't know how much I should share on it, but like it was someone that Arthur met at university in his first year. Um, yeah, he's a sweet. I never met him, but apparently he's a really sweet boy. Who was kind of yeah. I think it was just about this. There's a lot of pressures when you go to university and stuff, and it's about kind of not letting that get to you and sort of being that sincere person. I think I think anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Well,
real guy. He's knocking around somewhere.
oh, has he been to any of your gigs? It was like, that's me. That's
Yeah,
from
well,
Ben.
that is a good question. I think he's aware of the fact that there's a song written about him. I think, but I'll have to ask Arthur. He's quite
Because,
an
well, do you know that there is a Michael Jackson song called Ben, but Ben is a mouse.
Yeah, is that what he wrote about his mouse, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah, so this is at least a human. This song is about.
yeah. Well, at least this time it's a real person,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just a mouse. Um, well, Violet Records recently, well, before the year ended, 2023, they did this like album of the year awards. Oh, sorry. So it was a rat, not a mouse. Neil said, yeah, Neil said it was a rat. Thanks, Neil. Yeah, so Violet Records did this Album of the Year awards, and they posted it to all their like members, or the ones that they've got on their mailing list. And I've noticed Arthur Arnold chose is it You're Sorry Baby,
yeah,
and apparently they're a Manchester band.
yeah. Yeah,
It's,
really, a really cool group. There's yeah, there's I think there's three of them. There's um, two guitars and I think a singer and sort of dancer. Um,
yeah,
yeah, and they make I don't know how to describe it really. I guess electronic punk music. I suppose that's probably a terrible description.
yeah,
But they're really fun. They're a really really fun band. And they're on Alphaville Records, who are a fantastic label
yeah,
based
yeah,
in South Manchester. But yeah, they're really cool. And one of them, I think the guitarist used to play in Duds. I don't know if you know a band called Duds.
yeah.
They're sort of I think as Tigers and Flies, they're our favourite band basically, and we've sort of nabbed quite a lot of stuff from them. So yeah,
Oh,
a lot of reasons to listen to your Sorry Baby. They're a really cool band.
so they young band as well, so like more or less the same
Yeah,
age as
yeah.
you.
I think they're a bit older. I think they're ranging from maybe 30 to 40. But,
Right, yeah. But the interesting one is your selection for album of the year 2023. I mean, I gotta say that most of the, I'd say all the bands that all the albums that were listed on there, like I've not heard, and they're all. And this is something that I always think: do musicians listen to all these obscure, never heard, so like bands? In
mm,
unlike like regular fans like myself, I seem to know only the mainstream ones. Anyway. So do you actually seek out all these like bands? Because yours, let me just say that your selection for album of the year 2023 is it Roger? Roger?
I think that's how you say it. Yeah, Roger,
Roger?
mate.
Roger? And it's an album called Curry Man.
Yeah, yeah. He's like a contemporary Brazilian singer, sort of, I guess, samba bossa nova singer. And yeah, he's really cool. I don't know how I think I was scrolling through, Mr. Bongo Records.
Mr.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
scrolling through there and saw this new release come out. And this past year, I've been listening to a lot of sort of Brazilian music, but mainly stuff that came out, in the 70s and 80s. Um, so yeah, so it was really nice to hear like a modern singer who's carrying that tradition.
yeah.
But yeah, it's really nice. It's definitely worth a listen.
Mr. Bongo, I've the first the first time I've heard about. Um, I don't know if you if you've heard of this band called Carnival.
I don't know.
Carnival. It was like Fire Station Records, Berlin, from Berlin. They've released like a 12-inch or an EP from Carnival. It's called From Strawberry Fields to the Pyramid Club with Love.
Mm,
And one of the members of Carnival, Ian Fradgley, his name is,
mm,
he actually got me aware of this Mr. Bongo.
okay.
and but these are like unusual albums that if you're into Brazilian
Yeah,
or
yeah,
samba, maybe samba music and all those things. So how did you get into that? Did someone sort of like point you to that website or?
so I think it was so over lockdown. My friend Eve sent me a documentary, like a BBC documentary about music from South America, and they had like a
Oh,
sort of an episode on Brazilian music, and Gilberto Gil, who's this sort of
yeah,
legendary Brazilian singer, and I thought it was amazing, and I love the history behind it. He talks a lot about the sort of Tropicalia movement and the politics behind it. Um, and and it really, and obviously it sounds so beautiful, and the rhythms are really cool. So yeah, when you have those sort of rabbit hole moments where you go in and you find all these artists and you're making these connections between them. You're like, oh, they played with them, and you know what I mean. So I had that, and yeah, I just kept digging deeper, and yeah,
yeah,
that's how it sort of started. Really, and I came across Mr. Bongo because whenever you sort of look up, they're so expensive because like you said, spend a lot of money on records. Getting first with Brazilian albums is, they go for quite a lot. So Mr. Bongo is like the place for reissues.
yeah. Well, from that description that you gave Violet Records, you actually said that it sounds even better. That album sounds even better on crystal clear vinyl,
Certainly does.
which I think that's really good.
It's
Yeah,
it does.
because there is a difference, isn't there? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
You know
go
what?
on.
Let me show you. Let me show you.
Yeah.
I've got it down here actually. It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful pressing. Um, it's got such a nice label on it as well. Look at that. So nice.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
a
That's
nice thick vinyl as well. But yeah, man, it's a lovely album. I think you should give it a spin.
but yeah, check it out and so like see where it is. But that's really good because, like I said in my intro, that you're not just an amazing sort of like drummer. That's why I'm really sort of like fond of you. But because you collect records as well, and because and you actually seem to sort of like not just current ones. I'm sure you like all the current music as well.
Well,
Or-
I'm not sure. I was thinking before this call. I was thinking about that, and I'm not sure.
but you like sort of like digging and you like
Yeah,
looking for
yeah, yeah. It's. I can get a little bit obsessive over it sometimes, but there's something quite enjoyable about finding a band and then going through their back catalogue and especially stuff that isn't on Spotify, like stuff you can't get online. Tracking down the record and it can be hit or miss sometimes, but I
yeah,
just enjoy the sort of process.
yeah.
Like this big flame, like it was such a end of last year. It's such a nice sort of thing. It was so organic that I found them. I went down to Rummage in the Range, that sort of car boot sale in Chiltern, and
Okay, yeah, yeah.
decided to join us, right, mate?
Oh,
Okay.
oh, there you go, Neil. Another cat. Like Neil loves cats.
Oh, yeah. Admit some shit. Really, but yeah, I went down to this car boot sale and I got chatting to this guy. I think it was called Dave, and he was recommending me records, and he had this. He gave me a Fad Gadget record. I'd never heard of them before.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pig Bag record, a 7-inch, and this Big Flame 7-inch. And I was like, oh. He was like, yeah, if you like post punk, give it a listen. So I went back and put it on the turntable, and I was blown away, man. It was just so bizarre and so energetic, and yeah. So I went back to the boot sale and I said to him like, this is just like, this is blowing my mind, you know. And he gave me a lot
Yeah.
more recommendations, and he actually said that a few days before that he went down to King B and he'd sold you guys another 7-inch by him. So I went straight down there and bought that 7-inch. So, but yeah,
But
so it was.
was
Sorry.
it the first time that you've been to King B, or
No, no,
you
no.
have been there before? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But it was just such a nice way to, you know, to find music by taking a chance on a record.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Neil said you've got a lovely cat. So, like I said, Neil
I'll let
really
him know.
likes
I'll
cats.
let him know.
So do you like when you find this records from say from the old days? I don't really want to say from the old, but do you incorporate that in your sort of like music, in Tigers and Flies music, or
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably quite a natural thing. You know, you hear these sounds and you absorb. I don't think it's like a conscious thing to try and copy certain parts, but I guess you naturally absorb certain rhythms and stuff, and that's how you incorporate them into your sound. I
yeah,
mean, especially sort of Big Flame, and there's a band called the Mackenzies who I found out through the Big Flame. All these sort of Ron Johnson bands, some of the time signatures are really sort of weird and disconcerting. So I think from listening to that sort of thing, I've definitely tried to put a bit of that into the songs we're writing at the moment.
yeah, yeah? Well, all of you collect records. Is it true that you actually live together, all four of you?
Yeah, we do. The four of us live together in in Furswood area. But it's nice. We've sort of pulled all our records. I keep some of mine in my room, but um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's nice. It's a good.
because all of you are record collectors.
Yes,
I
we
mean,
are.
you're all, yeah, you. So how do you so like do you share, and do you so like have like a record night where, oh, listen to this, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
good. Yeah, good, good question. We kind of yeah, you know, the Saturdays when you see us in King B, those are the best sort of Saturdays because we'll go down and get a coffee, go King B, pick up some stuff, and then head back and listen to what we've got. And yeah, so I guess that's how we sort of share our new finds and stuff.
yeah. And do you get inspiration from it? Do you say, oh, why don't we write something so like similar to what we've just heard? And do you do you
Yeah,
did that happen sometimes?
yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I think it does. I think it's more. I think it's less explicit and more a case of if we all like something, then we'll revisit it and sort of try and work out the parts we like and the parts we want to put into a song. Like
Yeah,
after texting me yesterday saying like, what have you been listening to recently? What rhythms have you been listening to and you like? So I sent him a McCarthy track because I've only recently got into them, and a couple of other bits. I can't remember what. So
yeah,
yeah, I think it's a case of we're always sort of discovering new stuff and sharing it with each other, whether that's listening to it in person or sending each other like links and stuff.
yeah, yeah. So have you got anything planned for this year? Do you have like a new album coming out, or
Yeah,
gigs?
yeah. So we've um, we've as of very recently been sent back the masters for like an EP, which we are gonna which we're gonna press on vinyl ourselves and hopefully have it out in June time. I think
Oh, right, yeah, yeah,
do two singles, maybe one in February, one in June, and then
yeah.
physical release as well. So yeah, we've got that to look forward to. It's, yeah, we've got a gig in at the Talleyrand with a band called Work Friends who are sort of split between York and oh yeah, they've got people from Captain Starlet in them. I think you must have saw them the other night.
Oh, right, yeah, Captain. Yeah, no, I didn't actually see that because they were the first band who came on, and I was away.
Have you seen them before?
No, no, but I've heard like really good sort of like reviews from people saying that, oh, they're brilliant. Because
Yeah.
when I got there, it was Odd Campus turn. They were the
Mhm.
second band to play that night.
Yeah, yeah. Captain Starlet were really cool. They're definitely worth checking out.
Right.
So
So
yeah, we're playing with their sort of spin-off band, I guess, in I think it's February time, or maybe it's March. I should.
March, I think it is.
Is it
Yeah, I
March?
think I've got it down. Yeah, I've got it down in your diary. So Is this new EP gonna be released by Violet as well, or?
No, it's not. It's not. We're doing like a self-release, like a sort of DIY thing, just to see how that is for us, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, Violetta, they're fantastic. They've said that if we did want to work with them on anything in the future, that they're up for it, you know.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, so it was a bit of a DIY release.
All right. It's got to be on vinyl. I mean,
Yeah.
all four of you being so like, fans of records, your
Yes.
stuff should be released on vinyl.
Yeah. I think ideally we want to do like a gatefold sleeve. We wanted to do two records for the 4 songs, but that looked a little bit expensive. So we're gonna do a gatefold, but yeah, with one disc. But yeah, no, you're right. It's got to be a record.
Yeah, yeah, it's got to. Well, I'm really looking forward to that one. So it's going to be hopefully in June of this year.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. And then hopefully you'll be touring it. I know it's just an EP, but hopefully you'll be touring it and do a few gigs.
Yeah, I think we ideally would like to do like a launch gig at Withington Public Hall. But yes, we need to work on that one.
Yeah. Well, that's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to that one. So, but yeah, gigs in March at the Talleyrand. So yeah, I've got that. I've got that in my diary. But before I actually saw like let you go, I always saw like ask drummers this question. I don't think I've ever seen you twirl. Do you twirl your?
That's a that's a funny question. Yeah, I mean it's a bit gimmicky, isn't it? I don't know. I spent like my entire time at school like doing that with pens, so I can do like a little stick twiddle, but I decide against it because it can look
No.
a bit corny sometimes. I think.
I
What,
think it's
what's
really
the
good.
yeah,
Isn't it?
what's the response to that question generally when you ask it?
Well, some do. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm actually looking forward to like having on the show the best twirler drummer I've ever seen
who's that?
live. and, and he plays in A Flock of Seagulls.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, he's absolutely amazing. It's like every single's like, he twirls, boom,
Wow.
and then sometimes he throws a stick. And I've just thought like, it makes me feel like I can't look at the singer because I'm just staring at him. It's so good.
When have you got him on the show?
It'll be, I think, March or April, something like that. But yeah, he's absolutely amazing. And I think, well, I've got to say, when you ask me that question, majority of the drummers don't really do.
They don't do-
They don't.
Really? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It can look cool if it's done sort of tastefully, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, it's also good when sometimes, like, when you're waiting for, I don't know, but it's like there's a gap, and
yeah.
then you just sort of like do a bit of twirling, and then before hitting.
Yeah. I remember when I was younger, I saw this. I used to be like when I was a lot younger. I used to be into like heavier music, like sort of some heavy metal stuff. I saw this band called Avenged Sevenfold in Brighton,
Oh, right, yeah,
and they were like
yeah.
they had Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater playing with them, and he did it. I remember because I was like I must have been like 10. He did this thing where he'd sort of as he was mid song he'd like chuck his sticks to his drum tech and keep playing, and they were sort of like juggling between them with sticks, and it was as for a 10-year-old it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my entire life. So maybe I'll incorporate that into the set.
So you don't want to do that with someone with Arthur or something.
You've given me ideas now, and it's not going to go with others.
Yeah. Well, that would be good, So,
Yeah.
yeah. And you can practice it. I mean, because you're so like.
See what we can do.
But well, the next question is drumming heroes.
Okay, Drum and Heroes. So I think I did. It's a classic answer. When I was younger, it was like, I used to love John Bonham because like he's a good drummer, and I think everyone says that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so it started with Top Ahead of the Clash, and then John Bonham, um, and then I listened to, that song "Fall in the Rain," the Led Zeppelin song.
Oh
It's
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
like it's a great song. It's like a halftime shuffle, and I was like baffled by it. So I took it to my drum teacher, and he was like, "Oh yeah, okay, you've discovered the halftime shuffle." So from then on, he showed me the Jeff Porcaro shuffle from Toto, and um, it's sort of that's the great thing about drummers. You just find out about others from the sort of their style.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I like Jeff Porcaro. I like Steve Gadd, the guy who played with Paul Simon. I think he's really
yeah,
interesting. Um, and I used to really like Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones. I thought he was cool. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I sort of gravitate towards sort of bands more than individual drummers. Um,
yeah,
because I think it's good to hear like an egoless drummer who's playing the song rather than playing the part. I think it's very
yeah,
easy sort of for drummers, especially drummers, but musicians in general, to sort of to play a really to focus on their own individual part rather than working out what would work well for the song. So the drummers that just sort of keep the groove are some of the best, I think.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I think, that's what I think so good about Top of Heading, because he can be really busy, but there's that song, Rudy Can't Fail on London Calling, and there's a bit at the end where he just sort of like he just breaks the groove and he just sort of doesn't play for a bar, and he comes back in, and I just think it's so tasteful. I think that's just it's a sort of dynamics, a light and shade of it. I think that's a sign of a really good drummer, someone who's like who can not play it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, Joe Strummer. Now I know that it's actually came. This quote came from him and not Bobby Gillespie. But he did say that a band is only as good as its drummer. Would you say? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, maybe. I think a good band is a band who don't have an ego. I think a good band is a band where there's where no one when no one shines sort of a special more than someone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe it's
But the tendency though is it's like you gravitate towards the singer because it's like I think that's what it is. Most bands they've got to have like a really good. I think when I started ask the drummer, it's because nobody wanted to ask the drummers.
mm, yeah.
Although I soon found out that there are actually podcasts out there, so like dedicated to drummers. So
I
it's
was
not
going to
really.
ask you why. Yeah, is that the reason you started this podcast?
Yeah, because during lockdown, I have seen quite a few sort of like podcasts, and most of the time, I'd say like 99.9% of those podcasts, they're concentrating on sort of like singers and guitarists
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. But then when you ask, I mean, what about the drummers? They are about, they
Yeah.
are, and for me, they really are the coolest member of the band. But
Well,
then I
yeah.
was,
I suppose I'm biased, but I would agree with you there.
yeah. But then I was told that nobody wants to watch drummers because it's like they only wanted to watch the singers because they're the main member of the band. But I just thought no. I'd like to ask the drummers to be on. I'd like to
Yeah,
know
yeah,
their stories as well. So
yeah. I mean, there's something so like like I said, obviously I'm biased as well, but there's something so captivating about watching a drummer play, isn't there? Because there's you can set every drummer sets their kit up slightly differently, don't they? Every drummer, the sort of heights are slightly different, and their technique is slightly different. So watching that is just so like yeah, it's so engaging. I think more so than watching someone play guitar or bass. But yeah, I suppose I am biased.
well, well, talking about sort of like techniques and stuff. Recently when I went to see the Vaselines,
Mm,
because you have been to the Deaf Institute. I think you played there
yes.
before, and the stage is quite high. So when you're at the front, the eye level, you can actually see the drum kit, like the
Oh yeah,
the what do you call it? The bass, the
the bass
bass
drum.
drum. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've only noticed it that time when I was watching Vaseline.
Mm.
You do when it hits, when that what I don't even know what it is when that part that hits
Yeah, yeah,
the bass drum. It's like a steady. It's like a steady beat.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I was just mesmerized by it, and I was sort of like trying to do it with my foot as well. So like to be in time with it, it's hard, you know. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't.
It is. I mean, yeah. It's sort. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of limbs moving around, aren't there? You know. Um, that's why it's so fun to watch because there's so much happening.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just me not having rhythm or something, but it really is hard. So like, and sometimes you think, oh, yeah, I've got it, but then it will change, and then the and another thing I've noticed is the thing that hits it, it almost like it turns. Does it move or something? Because it's like,
Hmm. I think it shouldn't move. It should stay sort of like the beta should stay like it's still in the
yeah, yeah.
in the kick pedal, but I suppose it can sort of swivel around. Have you played drums? Have you played drums?
I have sort of like I had crash lessons. I mean, I had sort of like did a few weeks, like 3 weeks of
Oh really?
doing
How did you
drum.
find it?
But it was awful because I just love watching it. So I just kept sort of like saying to the drum to my teacher, "Oh no, you play it. Go, you play it," because he was so good. And it was just so
Really?
that never, yeah. And then I'm sort of like another question I wanted to ask you that I always sort of like ask drummers is, it's got to be in you, isn't it? I mean, it's a gift. I don't think, or to sort of like ask it differently is, can anyone be a drummer?
Hmm. It's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's got. It's the most primitive thing, isn't it? Like hitting bits of wood with more wood. Like everyone's got a pulse in them. Everyone's got a heartbeat. So everyone's got like a internal sort of rhythm. Um,
Yeah,
as corny as that sounds, but I think yeah, I think anyone can be a drummer. I do because we're so used to sort of. It's what kids like doing, isn't it? It's like what toddlers do. They like making noise. They like hitting stuff. Um, So yeah, I mean, I think everyone can if you spend a bit of time sort of fine tuning how you hit stuff. Um, but yeah, I reckon so. So I reckon it's not too late for you, Anne. I reckon you can.
but like I said, I mean, just watching that thing hitting the bass drum and trying to sort of like, you know, copy it and see it, and then I kept getting it wrong. It's like, oh my god, what's on?
That's what practice. What you got to practice for, man.
I don't know. I think I'd rather just sort of like watch drummers
Really,
than
really.
actually me sort of like playing it. Because I could never be as cool as you guys. I mean, drummers are just sort of like cool. But, right. Well, the next one is what about accidents? I mean, have you ever had any sort of like drumming accident or disasters? As they're called?
um, oh, yeah, I mean, I've dropped sticks before, not often, but oh God, I always have dreams that I'm playing at a gig and I just can't play. I always used to have this dream that I was playing at Wembley Arena, filling in for Green Day, and I go up to the kit and then it's all just like slabs of concrete, and everyone's looking at me being like, "What are you doing?" So I guess I'm quite anxious about sort of about that sort of thing
Yeah.
and about I often have like dreams that I'm playing and the drums are sort of moving further away from me, um, which is a strange anxiety, isn't it? But in terms of actual real life accidents, not really, not really. I
No.
drop the occasional stick, um, but not that often. You can always just sort of reach down and pick it up, can't you?
And get another one. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I think that's amazing. When I've seen sort of like drummers where it just sort of like the stick will sort of like fly out, but then they'll immediately just grab one and you can. I mean, I'm sure not not many people sort of like seeing it, but
Yeah,
because I'm all, most of the time when I go to a gig, I just sort of like focus on what the drummer is sort of like doing and things. So sometimes I do see things like that. But when you talking about sort of like the drum kit, going forward and running away. I mean, I have seen that happen as well.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. So yeah, that's it's the most frustrating thing when you're playing. You've got to sort of pull the kick drum forward. Probably the worst experience was when I was playing in that band Pog. Um, we turned up to play this gig at this, like, I don't know, it was like a summer festival thing in a park. Oh, sorry, you all right? And we were told that there'd be a kit there, so I just brought my breakables with me, and there wasn't. So we had to improvise. So I used like a water cooler as a kick drum, and like I put the snare on a chair. So that was a bit of a nightmare, but that was out of my hands.
yeah, that's another thing that always fascinates me. If there are like several bands playing on one night, so like
Mhm.
it's like a festival or something, and there's only one kit there,
Mhm.
how do bands or how do different drummers like adjust to it? And because I mean, surely not all of you get um sound check or if it's festival.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's often there's like a line check. So before you go on, you sort of like, adjust everything um,
Yeah,
and play the kit so it sounds okay to you. But yeah, it's not it's quite an uncomfortable thing because you don't feel completely at ease with someone else's kit, and also no time to set it up how you want it. So I think a lot of the time it's just luck, and knowing
yeah,
your sort of setup, knowing how high you want your snare stand, and how high you want your other stands and stuff like that, and how you want your kit tuned. So yeah, it's not fun though, is it?
but can a drummer just play any old drum kit and
Yeah,
it
I
just
think I think
you know
so. I think so. Um, yeah, it's obviously you prefer having your own kit, don't you? But there's a lot of easy fixes. Like as long as you've got a bit of gaffer tape and a drum key, I think you can play any kit any kit in the world.
oh, okay. Oh, David Chambers from who's also an amazing drummer. He said you're an awesome drummer. So yeah, I
Oh, that's
totally
very
agree.
kind.
So that's very good. So the other question is, I know you're very young, so but I'm sure you can still give advice to aspiring drummers, or if you want to, what was the best advice that was given to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose like I guess there's a couple of things like just listen to as much music as you can really, and don't be snobby about it because when I was younger I was a bit snobby and I shut off so many things, and it's only later that I started like listening to like pop music is just so good, and when I was younger I was such a snob about it that I just so just don't be snobby, don't have any preconceptions, absorb
Yeah,
stuff, take it in,
yeah,
have an open mind, I suppose. And also like I guess second bit is just you know just have fun with it. Don't worry about there's no rules really, there are conventions, but you can test stuff out, it's completely your own, you have complete autonomy over how you play it, the instrument. So just yeah, work it out for yourself. Don't worry about reading music. No one likes to read music. No one needs to read music.
I actually find it so like surprising that there are is it drum sheets or
Yeah.
sheet music for drums.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're in an orchestra or something, that maybe it
Yeah,
is
I guess,
required.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Honestly, it's a different language, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, that's really good about not limiting yourself to the kind of music because I I remember that when I was like a kid as well, that you don't want to be seen as listening to, like uncool,
Yeah.
uncool music. But I think now, I mean, you're still young, but now that I'm older, I can sort of like admit to liking everything, every single music out there. But anyway, so yeah, Aiden said great conversation, which I totally agree. And I'm really glad that you said yes to ask the drummer. So Tigers and Flies playing at the Talleyrand in March. So do you want to just
Yeah,
invite everyone. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you're about to come down, it'll be a good night. I think. We've not we've not got a whole lot of gigs coming up. We're playing Fair Play Fest in Manchester in April. April the 5th, maybe the 4th.
Okay.
So we've got that, but yeah, come down to Talleyrand if you can. It's a great venue, It's a great place. Jack's done a fantastic job with getting all these amazing bands in there. So head down there, support the venue, see work friends. Yeah, come down, it'll be good.
Yeah, and look forward to the EP on vinyl.
Yeah, man, of course, it'll be good.
Yeah, that's in June. And yeah, that's true about the Talleyrand. Please support the Talleyrand because it's such an amazing venue. I really like that place
Mhm.
as well. So, yeah, well, thank you so much, Arvin, for coming on Ask the Drummer. That's
My
really,
pleasure.
really kind of
Thanks
you.
for having me.
And
It's been great.
you're welcome. No, really, thank you. And enjoy the rest of the weekend and say hello to everyone.
I
Long
will do.
time since fly. So,
I think
and
we'll come
yeah.
down to King B next Saturday and say hello.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing you there. So, all right.
Okay.
Thanks, Arvin. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, man. Lovely to see you.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live. I mean, that's really good. Like I really like him because he's so tall, but he's so gentle, and he's very intelligent as well. You've seen him. He's a very good drummer. So if you're around, in March, I think it is. I'm sure it's in March, not February, but in March, go and see Tigers and Flies at the Talleyrand. It's a fantastic venue. I really like the Talleyrand, and I wanted to say hello to Jack Harkins because he's done really good job. So like putting gigs at the Talleyrand. And he's in a band called Autocamper. He's really good as well. So if you still haven't heard of Autocamper, do check that out. So yeah, thank you all so much. Next week, we're gonna have someone from Los Angeles, an amazing drummer from Los Angeles as well. So I hope you do join us again next week. But as always, well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. As always, love music, love life, love, love, love drummers. They're absolutely amazing, the coolest people on this planet. And hope to see you all again next week. Bye for now. Bye.